All right, so these are our rounding notes. Now the reason why we round is basically to make it easier to do different operations. So for example, if I say, what's 98 plus 37? I can do the math behind that. I can say 8 plus 7 is 15, carry the 1, 1 plus 9 plus 3 is 13, so I get 135. I can do that, or I can round to the tens place, and I can go 100 plus 40 is 140. And this way is much faster. And when I'm rounding, or another term that you will often see is estimating. When I'm rounding or I'm estimating, I don't need the exact answer. I only need an answer that's close. All right, so the first thing I want you to write is rounding notes. And then draw an arrow from rounding to the word estimating. Because really these two words, mathematically, they're basically the same word. All right, and then I'd like you to write this practice problem. So basically what's on the screen right now, I want you to write that in your notes. So pause the video and write that in your notes. All right, so hopefully you've got that written in your notes. Now let's take a look at exactly how we round or estimate and how we're going to do that with decimals, because that's our objective today. Our objective is to round or estimate with decimals. All right, so you guys have probably heard this before. If you've not, then this is a good thing to write as well. 5 or more, so 5 or higher, you raise the score. You go up. 4 or less, let it rest or leave it. Okay? So if the number is 5 or more, we're going to go up. If the number is 4 or less, we're going to leave it. But what number? What are we talking about here? So let's do a couple of examples. All right. Go ahead and write 5 or more, go up. 4 or less, leave it. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, so for our first example, let's just take a very easy one and look at the number 99. Now, hopefully you know 99, if we're going to estimate, is very close to 100. I mean, it's literally up 1. All right, but how are we going to do that mathematically? What's a rule that we can follow? Well, if I know I want to round to the tens place, and because I only have 2 digits, if I'm going to estimate, if I'm going to round, it's got to be to the tens place. I'm not going to round to the ones place. There's nothing to estimate there. So if I want to round to the tens place, then I actually need to look to the digit to the right. I need to look at the ones place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to circle it. And I'm going to circle it for a couple of reasons. One, because this is the number I want to focus on. This is the number that's going to tell me what am I going to do. The other reason that I circle it is that this is going to become a 0. Now that's going to be really helpful in a few minutes when we're looking at decimals. All right, so since I'm looking at this 9, because it's 5 or more, the 9 in the tens place, I'm going to go up. So I'm going to make this 9 a 10, and this is going to become a 0. Now this, because this is the number I'm looking at to see if it goes up or stays the same, this is going to turn into a 0 no matter what I do. All right? So if you haven't already, go ahead and write this down in your notes as well. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, so let's look at another example with a similar setup, but instead of 99, let's look at 91. Okay, so for 91, still want to round to the tens place, but in order to round to the tens place, I need to look at the ones place to see what I need to round to. Well, because 1 is 4 or less, I'm going to leave the 9 as a 9. All right? So because it's 4 or less, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let it rest. All right? I'm going to let the 9 stay the same. My ones place was always going to turn into a 0, regardless of what I did here, same as we did up here. So in this case, I'm rounding to 90. All right? You're going to do some practice on this, and there will be a video that will help walk you through the practice. Make sure what we've written down is in your notes in your math journal.